How long will I love you? Until my dying breath. From the moment they set their eyes on each other, Woo-bin and Alina have been head over heels in love. Their intense love for each other fills their lives with colors and their bellies with butterflies. But their happiness is cut short when Alina is diagnosed with a life-threatening sickness. A sudden death forces the lovebirds to say goodbye to each other, but Woo-bin soon discovers that everything they were made to believe was a lie. How far would he go to be with the love of his life? Hello, this is Blasian Folktales, where stories thrive and souls connect. Welcome to my page.
Woo-bin came out of his car and took long strides with his hands in his pockets towards the house in front of him. When he got to the door, he took in a deep breath before knocking. The door was opened and the face that came into his view was Park Soo-bin's. Park Soo-bin smiled at him and said, "Hi, come in, Woo-bin." The Lees and the Parks had been friends for years. Soo-bin was his friend and they were both in their final year of high school, set to graduate in a few weeks. Woo-bin's family was the wealthiest in the city of Seoul. Before he moved to the Gangnam district, he attended the best high school in Itaewon. However, with reasons best known only to him, his dad had him move all the way to Gangnam, just as he was excelling in his previous high school as the best in basketball. When he moved to Gangnam and met Alina, everything changed. All the girls had eyes for him, but he only had eyes for her. She was the most amazing and sweetest person he had ever met. But those were not her only features. One would only have to spend a few minutes with her to realize that she was the kindest beauty in the universe. Her hazel eyes were the most attractive he'd ever seen, and she was 5 feet 9 inches tall, which was just perfect for him. She had midnight black hair, cherry lips, and velvety lashes. He was head over heels in love with her. He had felt that way since the first time he set his eyes on her 6 months ago. It was love at first sight for him, as it was for her. Their relationship was a secret. He hit her off immediately he asked her out, and she became his girlfriend. However, they had to keep their relationship a secret because Alina's mum, Park Seo-jun, was quite conservative. She hated strict rules, one of which was that Alina was not allowed to have any boyfriends. But Woo-bin was tired of playing hide and seek and going around in secret. He was there to do the proper thing, the real thing as a man. He was 18 years old now and a few months older than Alina, but they were old enough, so he was there to do things the right way and suck her parents' consent to court her. When Soo-bin opened the door, she hugged him and welcomed him in. He looked around the house and saw Alina at the dining table, about to serve lunch. She had an apron around her body. She looked beautiful and adorable, as always. It seemed she felt his presence as she suddenly turned and smiled at him. Her voice rang out, "Welcome, Woo-bin." And he just stood there, staring at her with so much love in his eyes. As usual, Soo-bin smiled and pretended to be happy about everything that was happening. She had loved Woo-bin from the first time her mum took her to Itaewon years ago to see his family. Back then, his mum had just died and her mum went for the burial. He was only 14, but she fell in love with him. Back then, he didn't notice her, especially because at the time, he was grief-stricken. However, his face and everything about him had been engraved in her heart. When he moved to Gangnam 6 months ago, she was more than convinced that he would ask her to be his girlfriend. She was the closest to him and didn't give other girls the chance to come around him. Their families were friends and, oh boy, she took advantage of that. His father was extremely wealthy, but her family was middle class, so she believed they were a match. However, he surprised her by going for Alina. After finding out about his relationship with Alina, she was very upset and felt betrayed. She thought about ways to destroy their relationship, but nothing good came to mind. All the plans she had would only end up with Woo-bin hating her, and she couldn't take that risk. She had to pretend to be the saint and keep supporting their relationship. Woo-bin was so happy about it, and they drew even closer. He came to see her as his very good friend, and she knew that this would make it easy for her to take Alina's place in his heart when the time finally came. Alina stood by the dining table with her heart racing. She knew why Wu Bin was there because they'd already discussed it. He looked as dashing as ever, the love of her life, her very essence. He was handsome and tall, with blue eyes and brown hair. He was the sweetest guy in the world, the reason why she woke up every single day, and she lived for the moments they spent together. Alina was very grateful to have a family, even though she was a year older than her sister, Su Bin. Su Bin bossed her around, but she still had no complaints. Her dad was cool. He was the best father in the world. Her parents loved Wu Bin, and even though she only met him 6 months ago, their relationship had blossomed so much so that she felt like she had known him all her life. Now that he was there, however, she was afraid. She didn't know how her parents were going to react, especially her mum. She wasn't a child anymore. She turned 18 3 days ago, and Wu Bin had decided to wait until she was 18 so her parents wouldn't have a reason to reject them. Now that he was there, she'd sit at the dining table, waiting to see what her parents would say, and hoping they would give their consent. What surprised her the most was Su Bin. When Wu Bin first moved over, Su Bin was all over him. Alina initially suspected that she had feelings for him, but then she noticed that Su Bin never tried to pursue him. She just kept clinging to him. When they began to date, they kept the relationship a secret from Su Bin. After she found out, Alina was so scared that she was going to report to their mom, but surprisingly, she did not. She was cool and she covered up for them most of the time. Wu Bin liked her because of this, and they became closer friends since then. Alina never told Wu Bin how Su Bin treated her at home because she didn't want to ruin the friendship they shared. Alina hurried into the room to get dressed. She had made lunch and ensured that the table was set. After getting dressed, she waited in her room. She was afraid of what her mom would do if she came out and got angered by the whole situation. She could hear their voices. Wu Bin was already sitting on the couch, waiting for them because Su Bin had made him comfortable. After a while, her parents finally went out to the living room, and Alina heard Wu Bin say, "Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Park." Wu Bin already had their future planned out. He was going to go to college in Seoul, and he wanted Alina to be with him when he did. They had planned to go to college together and spend the rest of their lives with each other. It was going to be perfect from there on. All that was left was just for her parents to give their consent, and everything would be fine. Lee Wu Bin sat on the couch, staring attentively at Mr. and Mrs. Park as they came out. They were friendly towards him, and he knew they liked him. Why wouldn't they? His dad had helped them get a lot of money because they went into business together. Both of them sat down and waited for him to say what he wanted. After a while, he got up and said, "Mr. and Mrs. Park, I'm here because I need to ask for your consent to openly court one of your daughters." "Who are we talking about?" Park Jae-hyun asked. "Well, it's Alina," Wu Bin replied. "Alina? That's interesting. I never knew you had an interest in Alina. I would have thought you were more interested in Su Bin since you guys seem to be so close," her dad said. Wu Bin smiled. "Well, Su Bin is sweet and she's my friend, but the one I love is Alina, and Su Bin is already aware." "You're aware of it?" Dae-hyun asked Su Bin. Su Bin nodded. "Yes, I've known for a while." "Okay, that's cool. So you want to openly date Alina, is that what you're saying?" her mum asked. "Yes, that is what I'm saying," Wu Bin replied. "Out of my respect for the two of you, I want to seek your consent." "Okay, that's fine. I'll just have to hear from Alina first," Park Sejun said. Wu Bin nodded and waited for Alina to come. Alina, who was in her rooms, hurried out and said, "Yes, Mum, you called me." Sejun explained, "Wu Bin here said he wants you to be his girlfriend, and he's here to seek our consent. This is news to me, so I need to find out if this is fine with you. Are you okay with being his girlfriend?" Alina smiled and nodded. "Yes, Mum, I am very much okay with it." Sejun stared at her suspiciously and asked, "For how long have you both been dating?" "For almost 6 months, actually," Alina replied. "What? You mean you had a boyfriend for 6 months and you kept it from your mum?" Alina had a guilty expression on her face as she smiled. "Sorry, Mum. I was just so afraid that you wouldn't be happy about it." "Why not? Come on, if it was someone else I might have a problem, but not Wogan. I know him and I know his family very well. As a matter of fact, if you're going to have a boyfriend, I'm happy for it to be Woobin. Alina seemed surprised by her mum's reaction, but Woobin wasn't. He had told her before that she was worrying too much. When they both gave their consent on the spot, he was very happy. Thank you so much, Mr. and Mrs. Clark, Woobin said. Thank you, Mum, Alina also said. Come on, let's have lunch together, Dahian told everyone. Woobin joined them at the dining table and they ate together. All through the meal, he kept stealing glances at Alina, who seemed to be over the moon. When they were done eating, Woobin thanked them for lunch and told them he wanted to leave. Shall I see you off? Zubin asked. Oh no, do not bother. Actually, want Alina to see me off. There are a few things I want to say to her, Woobin replied. Zubin smiled. Okay, that's cool. Woobin and Alina stepped out of the house, both wearing bright smiles, and made their way towards Woobin's car. Alina exclaimed, That went well. Woobin nodded, his own grin matching hers. Yes, it did. I've always assured you that your parents would not have a problem with me dating you, but you were always so afraid. A sigh escaped Alina's lips. Well, you know, I told you before that my mum is conservative. I'm so surprised. Woobin chuckled softly. Well, I should have known that since it's you, she wouldn't have a problem with it. Yeah, I told you that before, Woobin continued. But all the same, it's still a good thing. I don't know why you'd be afraid of your mum. She's your mum after all. Alina's lips curled into a fond smile. Well, she is, and I don't just want to be the disobedient daughter, so I'd rather do it in secret than in public. Woobin laughed, a warm down that filled the air. That's a smart move. Standing by the car, he gently took Alina's hand in his voice sincere. Thank you so much. Alina's eyes sparkled with happiness as she replied, No, I should be the one thanking you. I am really happy, Woobin. His gaze met hers, full of tenderness. Yes, I know you're happy. I can see it in your eyes. With a soft smile, Alina confessed, I love you so much, Woobin. I love you too, Woobin murmured. Can I see you later? Alina's response was swift and eager. Sure, I'll see you whenever you want. Just tell me where. Woobin suggested, What about our favourite spot? A shy smile played on Alina's lips. I will be there, I promise. All right, in that case, I'll be waiting for you, Woobin affirmed, leaning in to kiss her before parting. Goodbye, baby, Alina whispered, then turned and hurried back into the house. Woobin stood by his car, his gaze fixed on her until she disappeared inside and the door closed. He then stood to his car and drove away, a sense of elation coursing through him. 3 hours later, Alina slipped into a black ensemble, donning jeans atop and sneakers, anticipation coursing through her veins for her rendezvous with Woobin. Just as she was getting ready, her mother entered the room with a smile, grazing her features. Off for your date, dear, she inquired. Alina nodded. Yes, Mum. That's lovely. Give my regards to Woobin, her mother imparted before turning to leave. Hold on, Mum, Alina interjected. Her mother turned back, inquiring, Yes, what is it? Drawing near, Alina confessed. To be honest, Mum, when Woobin talks about seeking your approval to openly court me, I was afraid. I worried you might say no, given how strict you can be at times. So I had my fears. But then you granted us your consent. Thank you, Mum. Yes, you can be firm, but you're perfect. You're the best mother in the world. A warm embrace followed, her mother's voice. That's kind of you to say, dear. Remember, your happiness is my concern. If being with Woobin brings you joy, then of course I'm all for it. He's a good lad and a family friend to boot. Just don't forget what I've told you before. Always uphold good morals. I won't forget, Alina assured. After her mother left, she applied a light touch of makeup and ventured out. Riding her bicycle, she headed to Gangnam High, the shared stomping ground of herself, Zubin, and Woobin. Arriving, she scanned the area, ensuring no prying eyes were about. It was serene being a Saturday, yet she knew they weren't supposed to be there. Still, the rooftop was their sanctuary. It was where she and Woobin always found solace, and today was no exception. Ascending to the top, she squatted Woobin with his back to her. As she approached, he perked up at the sound of her footsteps, turned and beamed. They embraced tightly. You're welcome, he greeted. Did I keep you waiting? She inquired. Not at all, you're right on time. Please have a seat, he offered. As she settled, Woobin began to speak. I'm genuinely thrilled today, for this marks the official start of our relationship. We used to be hidden away, but now we don't have to hide anymore. Yes, she concurred. I even informed my mum about what date and she's in her love. I had no idea your mum was so cool, he mused. She's the best mum in the world, Alina affirmed. He sighed and stared at her. You know, I often wonder how I managed before I met you. Yes, I've pondered the same thing. How did I survive before Woobin? I can't quite fathom it. But what I do know is that you're my essence. And no matter what, I'll always want you by my side. That's sweet, he replied. I love it when you say that. I know it shows, and that's why I'll never forget to, she smiled. So I have a question for you, Reuben ventured. Go ahead, she encouraged. What are your plans for prom? He asked. Why, do you plan on taking me? She parried. Isn't that a given? That'll be my first prom. The one before I had no interest, so I skipped it. I spent my time learning martial arts. I'd love to see you in action someday, she admitted. He chuckled. I hope it never comes to that. I just want us to have a peaceful life together. So, back to what I was saying. You're my first girlfriend, you already know that. And you're the first girl I'll be asking to prom. It's nearly 2 months away, or maybe a bit less, I can't recall exactly. But I really want to go this time. And I can't imagine being there without you, by my side. A smile graced her lips. You know, Steuben and me have once gone to prom. My dad was a classmate, and for me, it was a dull affair. Really? You found it dull? Reuben asked. Yeah, Key will hype it up, but for me it was just, I don't know, maybe because I hadn't met you yet. Now it's different. I'm certain this prom will be the best of my life, she confided. Then why not practice? Reuben suggested. Practice? Yes, for the dancing, Reuben reminded her. So you want us to practice dancing? She confirmed. Precisely, he affirmed. But there's no music here, she pointed out. I've got that covered, Reuben said, producing his music player from his bag. Alina couldn't help but laugh. Oh my god, you came prepared? Of course, now get up and let's get ready. With the music filling the air, they moved in harmony to the tune of Ellie Goulding, How Long Will I Love You? As the song concluded, Reuben copped Alina's cheek, gazing into her eyes. How long will I love you? He posed. Until my dying breath, they replied in unison. And he leaned in, their lips meeting in his tender kiss. Come, have a seat, he urged. You must be tired. No, not at all. How could I be tired when I was dancing with you? She beamed. I have a gift for you, Reuben wriggled. From his pocket emerged an elegant box, inside of which lay a set of diamond earrings and a matching necklace. Oh, this is exquisite. You must have spent a fortune, she marvelled. That's not what matters. These will complement your beauty perfectly. In fact, they hardly do justice, Reuben assured. He placed the necklace around her neck and assisted with the earrings. Alina examined herself on her phone screen, a smile of contentment gracing her features. I look stunning. You always spoil me, Reuben. It's my privilege. If I don't spoil you, who will? You're beautiful, Alina. The most beautiful girl in the world, he professed. Alina laughed. Is that why you love me so much? No, that's not the reason. I can't put it into words. I can't give a single reason. There are so many things about you that just add up. You're beautiful, though. I can't explain it, Alina. The thought of you alone is enough to grind the darkest day. When I'm on the court playing basketball, just seeing you makes losing an impossibility. You're my inspirations, my world, my everything, Alina. Alina smiled, and her eyes suddenly became misty. No, baby, don't do that. Why the tears? He asked. Alina spoke in a soft voice. I don't know what I am doing right. How is it possible that you love me so much, Reuben? Well, I suppose because you're my Alina, and that's all that matters. Wiping away threatening tears, Alina intertwined her fingers with his, vowing, I love you deeply, Reuben. You're the guiding star in my life, and I promise to hold on to it forever. He smiled warmly. I know, and I promise you too. As long as we have each other, nothing can break us down. Now I have something to show you. You do? Reuben nodded, leading her towards the rooftops descent. He stowed his music player and took her hand, and together they began their descent. As they descended, laughter bubbled up, with the playful Ron exhilarating them both. However, when they reached the ground floor, Alina suddenly froze and Millie took hand. He turned to find her breath rapid, struggling for air. What's wrong? Were you all right? He asked, concern evident in his voice. Her breathing quickened further until she couldn't draw a breath. What's happening? He queried, worry deepening. I don't know. I think I can't breathe properly, she managed to say. Shortness of breath? All right. I'm sorry, maybe I pushed you too hard, especially with these chairs. Let's just a moment to rest, all right? Breathe in and out slowly, Reuben advised. Alina followed his instructions, focusing on her breath until it steadied. After a while, she smiled. He apologized. It really frightened me. I'm sorry too. You know what? Let's not make you walk any further. Hop on my back, he told her with a warm smile. Are you sure? Your car is far away, she hesitated, a bit unsure. No, really, get on. It would be an honor to carry you. All right then, she agreed with a small laugh. He bent, offering his back. After waiting a moment, he felt no weight. Instead, he heard a thud. Turning, he was met with the sight of Alina on the ground. Initially, he thought she was jesting. He took her hand, saying, "What are you doing, Alina? This isn't the time for jokes." Yeah, she remained unresponsive. Checking her pulse, he felt the stark reality. She'd lost consciousness. He cried out, "Alina!" As Alina fainted, Wu Bin carried her in his arms and ran out of the school premises. He placed her in the back seat of his car, put her bicycle behind, and got into the driver's seat. He began driving to the hospital. On his way, he called Subin and told her everything that happened, asking her to inform her parents that he was taking Alina to the hospital. "Within, please take her to my family's hospital," Subin suggested. "My family doctor will be there to attend to her. I will be arriving soon with my parents." "Okay, I will do just that," Wu Bin replied. He quickly took her to the hospital, and as Subin has said, the family doctor promptly attended to her. Wu Bin waited outside until Subin and her parents eventually arrived. "What's happened?" they asked Wu Bin. "Well," Wu Bin began, "we were at the rooftop of our school building, and afterwards we decided to go down. We ran down the stairs, and suddenly she became short of breath, and eventually passed out. I don't know what is going on, and I'm so afraid. I've never seen her like this before." "Don't worry, she'll be fine," her father assured. "Let's just wait for the doctor." When the doctor came out of the ward, he said, "I would like to speak with Alina's parents alone." "What is the problem, doctor?" Wu Bin asked anxiously. "Please, whatever it is, I would also like to know." "Why not just tell us what the problem is?" Alina's father added. "You can tell all of us." "In that case, all of you should come to my office," the doctor suggested. Alina's father and mother, along with Subin and Wu Bin, gathered in the doctor's office. Inside, the doctor began, "I'm sorry to inform Alina that she has cancer of the blood." Wu Bin's eyes widened at first. "Cancer of the blood? Is it leukemia?" "Yes," the doctor replied. "She has leukemia." "No, that is not possible," Wu Bin refused to accept. "She never had any symptoms. She's been very healthy and okay. How can she suddenly have leukemia?" "Just calm down," the doctor said to him. "Sometimes it happens that way. Unfortunately, you never saw the symptoms. Or she may have experienced it, but kept it to herself." "Perhaps," the doctor continued, "you did not see when she had 1 or 2 episodes or 1 or 2 struggles, as she probably saw it as just something normal and never bothered to talk about it." "Oh no, this is very serious," Alina's mum replied. "So is she going to begin chemotherapy or something? What are we going to do? What's the way forward?" "I'm sorry, I have even more bad news," the doctor replied. Wu Bin placed his hands on his chest as his heart began to race. The doctor said, "She has 2 more months left to live." "That is a lie," Wu Bin snapped as he got up. "You cannot tell me that. What do you mean she has 2 months left? Alina is not going to die. She's going to live for a very long time." "Listen, you need to get a hold of yourself, Wu Bin. Calm down and let the doctor tell us the way forward." Alina's mum was already crying while her dad was quiet. "Subin, head to the doctor. There has to be something. Just tell it the solution, okay? You're just telling us the problem." The doctor said, "Listen, if you want her to undergo chemotherapy, it's fine. We'll do it. But the stage she is in, she has just 2 months left to live." "I demand to get a second opinion," Wu Bin said. "Let's go to another doctor. There are much better doctors and much better hospitals. We'll take her to a specialist, no matter what. She will not die. I do not believe you. Alina cannot die." "Calm down," the doctor said. "I understand your frustration, but there is no need to take it out on me. I have arranged for a specialist to come and look into her case, just for you, to feel at ease. However, I need you to prepare your mind. He's going to tell you exactly what I have told you. If he still has doubts, you can take her to a much better hospital and carry out whatever tests you want. The earlier you start preparing your mind, the better. I'm really sorry about this." After the doctor spoke to them, they all got up and left his office. or Wubin ran into Alina's ward to be with her. He sat by her bedside and held her hand. Her eyes were open, and she was lying on her back. She turned and stared at him. Wubin, I feel so weak and tired. What is wrong with me? Has the doctor told you what happened? Did she explain why I fainted? Wubin kissed her hands and kept looking at her until he broke down and began to cry. She was surprised. What is the problem? Why are you crying, Wubin? She asked. He refused to say what the problem was. She became even more anxious and struggled to sit upright. Look at me, Wubin, what is it? Wubin lowered his face as he continued to cry. However, Alina held his cheek and lifted his face so he could look at her. Come on, Wubin, tell me what is going on. Why are you crying? I can't bear to see you like this. Please say something. Wubin wanted to tell her what the problem was, but he couldn't bring himself to. In the end, all he could say was, This cannot be happening. This cannot happen, Alina. She pulled him closer to her and hugged him. Oh, Wubin, I'm so sorry. What happened? What is the problem? Listen, no matter what it is, you can tell me. Please stop crying. She also began to cry. She thought something terrible was going to happen to Wubin. At this moment, her parents and Zubin all came into the room, and she saw that both her mum and Zubin were crying too, while her dad had a sad expression on his face. What is the problem? She asked them. Please, somebody should tell me what is going on. Her mum went to sit by the other side of the bed and stroked her hair. I'm so sorry, darling. The doctor said that you have leukemia. What? Her mum nodded. Yes, you have leukemia, Alina. I am so sorry. Is that why you all look so sad? Come on, I'm not the first person to have leukemia. Listen, Wubin, don't worry. I'll get treatment, okay? No matter what, I will get well for our sake. Don't be sad, I'll get better. People survive leukemia. I have heard of people who survive after going through chemotherapy. You all shouldn't look so sad. Be optimistic. I will get better. Okay, please don't cry, Mom. Zubin, I can't bear to see you all so sad. Sorry, baby, her mum cried. I wish I didn't have to tell you this, but the doctor said you have just 2 months left to live. Alina's expression changed to a shocked one. What? No, that cannot be true. Are you all joking with me or what? That's a lie. She looked at Wubin, who was still crying, and looked at her father. Dad, tell me, is it true? Do I really have only 2 months left? Her father couldn't say a word in reply. He turned and left the room. She held Wubin's hands and cried, Wubin, tell me it's not true, please. This cannot be happening to me. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I want to live. Mum, please help me. Wubin needs me. Wubin, do something. Please don't give up. I still have a long life ahead of me. What about our plans? What about our dreams for the future? Wubin, you promised me we would go to college together and spend the rest of our lives together. Please don't let me die. I don't want to die. Unable to see her break down, their mum and Zubin ran out of the room while Wubin hugged her as they both broke down in tears. The next 2 months proved to be extremely difficult for Wubin. He couldn't come to terms with the fact that he was going to lose Alina. However, Alina had accepted that she would die in 2 months, so she tried her best to be happy and make as many memories as she could during the time she had left. She became weaker by the day, though, and her mum kept suggesting that she undergo chemotherapy. However, she refused, stating that there was no point because a specialist brought in by her dad to look into her case and said the same thing as the first doctor. Moreover, due to how affected Wubin was, his dad had arranged for her to be transferred to one of the best hospitals in Seoul. However, when she got there, she was told the same thing. She had leukemia and was going to die in 2 months. After learning all this, she believed there was no point in spending the remaining time in the hospital trying to get treatment that wouldn't change her condition. Instead, she decided to spend it with her loved ones. Both her dad and Wubin's dad did their best, and everyone around her tried to give her whatever she wanted. As the time approached, she told Wu Bin about her desire to attend the prom with him, despite her situation. It would be her last, but she would try to make it a memorable one. She spent most of her time with Wu Bin and some of it with her mom and Su Bin, who were always crying whenever she was around. With Wu Bin, it was different. Even though he was undappy, he tried not to show it in front of her. They went out on dates, went dancing, swimming, stargazing, cooked together, and did everything else they could. Wu Bin had asked her to make a list of all the things she wanted, but she told him that she just wanted to spend time by his side. So he came up with activities that he was sure would not sap too much of her energy, considering her sickness. Orchid left her feeling tired. As the prom day drew closer, she knew that her death was also close. She'd gotten a calendar, and every day she marked it to remind herself of how many days she had left. When the date eventually arrived, her mum got her a Cinderella gown, which was very beautiful. And Wu Bin wore a suit and came to her house to pick her up. When they went to school for the prom party, Wu Bin couldn't stop staring at her. The news about her imminent death had spread, and many sympathized with her. When they arrived at the party, Alina tried her best to be lively and make everyone feel at ease. She didn't like the fact that they were all feeling pity for her. "You look very beautiful," Wu Bin told her when they stood on the dance floor. "You are the most beautiful girl here, and the most beautiful girl in the world." "Well, you have always told me this, and today is no different. As long as you're saying it, I believe it," she replied. He stared at her diamond necklace and earrings. "You wore them today." She nodded. "Yes, I did, and after today I will never take them off." "Why?" he asked. "They're precious to me. They're from you, so it's only natural that I would want to wear them always. I want to die wearing them, because I want to look like your girlfriend even in my death." "Please don't talk about death anymore," Wu Bin said. "I'm sorry, I did not plan to make this day difficult for you," she replied. "I just have come to terms with the reality, and I hope that when I'm gone, you will try to do the same as well." "Let's just dance," Wu Bin told her. He hugged Alina as they danced slowly to the music. When the party came to an end, they were both crowned prom king and queen. Wu Bin knew that everyone must have voted for Alina as their way of saying goodbye to her. But she seemed very happy, and when she accepted the trophy, she kept smiling in all the pictures that they took. Afterward, she got into his car and he began to drive her back home. But on their way home, he said, "I don't feel like going home tonight. I want to spend the night in your arms." "Will your parents be okay with that?" he asked. "Let me call my mom," she replied. She called her mom and told her about her desire to spend the night with Wu Bin. "It's okay," her mom said, "as long as it makes you happy. See you tomorrow." After saying goodnight to her mom, Wu Bin drove her to his house. When they got into the house, she saw his dad sitting by the hearth. The moment he saw her, he got up and walked up to her. "Alina," he said. She smiled. "Hi, Mr. Lee." He opened his arms and hugged her. "I'm so sorry, Alina. I wish there was something I could do for you and Wu Bin." "It's okay," she replied. "It's fine, Mr. Lee. Even if I die today, I will die assured, because I know I have the love of all the important people in my life. Everyone around me has been very good to me, and they have made this process easier. I have no regrets." "All right, then I'll let you two be together." Wu Bin led her to his bedroom, and as they sat on the bed, they talked about how the prom night went, and went through all the pictures and videos they took. Afterwards, Wu Bin took one of his t-shirts from the wardrobe and said, "Your gown looks uncomfortable. I'm sure you will not be able to sleep in it." "Of course, please untie the rope at the back for me." Wu Bin untied the rope and then turned his back so she could take off the gown. After she took off her clothes, she picked up the t-shirt he had left on the bed and quickly put it on. "You can turn now," she said to him. He smiled at her. "I will be in the bathroom, so just wait for me on the bed. When I'm gone, you can use it if you wish to." She nodded. "All right, I'll be waiting for you." She sat on the bed and waited for him while he went into the bathroom to bathe. But after a while, she got up and took off all her clothes. Afterwards, she opened the bathroom door and went inside, naked, to meet him. Wu Bin stared at her in surprise. "Alina!" She stood in front of him and smiled. "I don't know how much time I have left, Wu Bin. I don't want us to hold back anymore. Make love to me." Wu Bin's heart began to race as he asked, "Are you sure, Alina? I don't want you to feel weak and—" Shh. She placed her finger on his lips, stood on her tiptoes and kissed him. Wu Bin smiled, his eyes gleaming as he held her cheeks and softly kissed her lips. He carried her in his arms out of the bathroom and back to his bedroom. He gently placed her on the bed and looked into her eyes. "You look so perfect," he whispered. "So do you," Alina replied. Her eyes closed and her lips parted as Wu Bin's lips found her breasts, sucking and fondling while she held onto the sheets, moaning and panting for breath as a wave of pleasure consumed her. When he entered her, his thrust to her genital and their fingers intertwined as he repeatedly professed, "I love you more than life itself, Alina." Once the passion was spent, Wu Bin and Alina showered together before returning to the bed. Like Alina, Wu Bin also had a calendar on his phone and kept looking at the gate. The time they were given had already elapsed. It had been more than 2 months already, a few days past 2 months. He was wishing for a miracle, hoping that somehow she would make it or become miraculously healed. He didn't want to sleep, although she had fallen asleep. He intertwined his fingers with her own and watched as her chest rose and fell with each breath she took. He kept staring at her and did not realize when he closed his eyes and fell asleep. When Wu Bin opened his eyes in the morning, he noticed she was still lying in the same position as last night. He tried to wake her up, but she wouldn't budge. He quickly checked her pulse and realized that she was dead. And his dad ran into the room. Seeing that she was dead, his dad picked up the phone and called her parents, who also came into the room. Wu Bin kept holding her hands and crying, begging her to come back to him, even though he knew it wasn't possible. She was taken away, and her burial was scheduled to take place in 2 days. Wu Bin could not bring himself to eat or stop crying. He kept staring at her pictures and reminiscing their moments together. On the day of the burial, Wu Bin joined the family as they took her coffin to the cemetery where they intended to bury her. He kept staring at the coffin from a distance, unable to go closer. As he listened to the priest say so many words, he found himself again remembering their moments together. It recalled all the plans they had and all the promises they made, and tears kept falling from his eyes. His hands and lips began to quiver. He couldn't bear it anymore and fell to the ground, losing consciousness. He was rushed to the hospital where the doctors took care of him until he eventually came to. After her burial, it was extremely difficult for Wu Bin to move on. He would spend his time sitting alone in his room, thinking. During that period, his dad tried his best to care for him, always cooking for him and making sure he ate his meals. Su Bin was also very supportive. She came every single day, as they were all aware of how much Alina meant to him. Eventually, Wu Bin began to speak. Each time Su Bin came, they would talk about Alina, and Wu Bin would tell her about other memories they had together. Sometimes he would cry, and Su Bin would join him. She became his very close friend, and he soon became more attached to her. As he woke up each day, he looked forward to Su Bin coming around so they could talk about Lena and look at her pictures together. Other days, he took Su Bin to places he had gone with Alina. He even took her to the rooftop of Gangnam High and told her about that night when they danced together at the top of the roof and ran down the stairs. It was the same night his world collapsed. The very night he realized that death was going to snatch Alina from him. "I am so sorry," Su Bin said. "I would give anything to see that you do not go through this pain, but I feel it too. Alina was my sister, and I loved her so much. It has been extremely difficult for my parents, but they have me, so I guess I'm there to remind them of Alina. And it makes the healing process quicker. But I know it will be harder on you, because other than your dad, Alina was everything to you. I was a witness to how much she meant to you. Most times, Wubin spent the entire day with Subin, and when he finally realized it would get dark, they would both go back home. 2 weeks after Alina was buried, Subin came to his house as usual. Wubin sat outside on the porch, going through pictures and videos of himself and Alina. When Subin came, they spoke briefly, but afterwards he said he wanted to be alone. He felt like reminiscing, but without anyone else. He wanted to imagine being alone with Alina. Subin got up and said, "In that case, I'll give you all the privacy you need. Just call me if you feel like talking." As she began to walk away, his phone rang. He looked at the screen. It was a foreign number, and it wasn't familiar. He answered it anyway, and the first thing he heard was a familiar voice. Alina's voice. "My essence," she said. His eyes widened in surprise. He stared at Subin, who was walking toward her car, and asked, "Is this a joke? Who is this? What are you trying to do?" "How long will I love you?" she asked. "Until my dying breath," Dolbrith replied. He instantly got up and exclaimed, "Alina!" Disconnected, and Wugin stared at his screen in surprise. He tried to call the number again, but he was told that the number did not exist. He kept trying again and again, but still the number wouldn't go through. He began to move up and down the porch, thinking about everything that happened between him and Alina up until she died. What is going on? Am I imagining things? He asked himself. He stood outside for a while and finally went inside. His father looked at the expression on his face and asked, "What is it, Wubin? Are you okay?" He said, "Dad, I have this feeling that Alina is still alive." His father sighed. "No, don't do this to yourself, Wubin. Weren't you there on the day she was buried? This is just your imagination, playing tricks on you and making it difficult for you to move on. You need to forget about her, okay? I'm not saying you should not think about her sometimes, but come on, you're in mourning and crying. Life goes on, and as much as you feel very sad over the demise of Alina, life has to move on." Wubin nodded and said, "Okay, thank you, Dad." He went into his room and sat on his bed, thinking about the call and the words Alina's voice had said. Only Alina could say those words to him. So who could it be? His eyes lit up as he suddenly realized something. His phone was set to record all his calls. He had done it in the past, so he could always listen to his conversations with Alina whenever he missed her. He quickly went to his recorded call log and saw the recording. He played it and listened to it. It was the same thing. He played it over and over again for hours, listening to every single word she said. In the end, he got up saying, "No, this is not an illusion. This is Alina. This must be Alina. She said the same words to me on that rooftop." But who would believe him? No one would want to believe him. His dad would think he was going crazy, and Alina's family, what should he tell them? What did it all mean? No, I can't tell anyone about this until I'm sure. I have to be sure, and the first thing I have to do is find out who owns this number. He quickly changed his clothes and left the house. He went to one of his new friends he knew that was good at cracking numbers and said, "Please, look at this number. I got a call from it, but I can't figure out who it came from. I tried calling the number back, but I was told it doesn't exist. I need to know who this number belongs to." "Easy peasy," his friend said. He took the number, put it in his system, and said, "Okay, this number was issued to one David Suarez, and the call was made from Los Angeles." "Los Angeles? Wait, you mean all the way from California?" he asked. "Yes," his friend said, "but what is it? Who has this number?" "I should be asking you. You said David Suarez. Who is this David Suarez?" Wubin asked. "I don't know," his friend replied. "Noggy should give me more information. Why are you so watchful about this call? What exactly did he say?" Wubin sighed. "You know what? Maybe it's just a prank. Let's just forget about it." "Really?" "Yeah, it must be a prank call. I should hurry back home. I'm feeling very hungry. I need to have lunch." "All right, see you around," his friend said. As he left and drove back home, Wubin began to think about the burial. On the day Alina was buried, he had been there, but he had lost consciousness. He knew that the coffin was usually opened for family members to see before it was put into the ground, but because he had fainted, he never got the chance to do that. But his dad must have seen it. Yes, he could ask his father. He hurried into the house and said, "Dad, I need to ask you something." Okay, go on, his dad said. On the day Alina was buried. Oh no, not this again, his father said, interrupting him. Calm down, Dad, I need to find out something. I just want to know, was the coffin opened for everyone to see before it was put into the ground? You mean Alina's coffin? Yes, you know I passed out and I was rushed to the hospital, but you did return to the cemetery even though I couldn't? Yes, the coffin was opened, but I think there were about 3 of us, so just me, Steuben, and Alina's mom. Her dad was attending to I think he was speaking to the priest. I can't really recall, but it was just 3 of us. Actually, and you saw her body? Ruben asked. Yes, it was Alina. Why all these questions? Nothing, Chad. I just feel like I missed my chance to say goodbye to her, Ruben replied. Just move on, okay? I know this is not easy for you, but forget about the past. After speaking to his father, Ruben stood outside the house. He was confused. If his father was sure that Alina was buried, then who called him? His eyes lit up as another idea came to his mind. There's only one way. I need to see that grave, he thought. He went to the cemetery and called one of the men who was responsible for digging. I need you to dig up a coffin for me. What? Someone died, my girlfriend, and I didn't get a chance to see her face before she was buried because I fainted. It is very important for me to see her body, Ruben told the man. What you're asking for is a big deal. Unless her family gives their consent. Ruben shook his head. No, I cannot do that. If I am caught, I might be sent to prison. There are usually security men around this cemetery. The man insisted. Just name your price, okay? All right, let's do it this way. I'll give you $10,000, Ruben said, and the guy's eyes widened in surprise. 10,000? Yes, Emil, with the 10,000 you can even settle some of the security men. I'm not doing anything, I just want to see her face. I don't want her family to start going through the trauma and the pain again, so I can't tell them. Do you understand what I mean? Ruben asked desperately. Okay, all right. We can't do it during the day, though. It has to be at night. The man finally agreed. What time shall I come back, then? Ruben asked. You can come back by 11. I'll dig up the grave around that time, and you can see what you want to see. Come with a flashlight, too, 'cause we'll make sure everywhere is dark. The man replied. All right, thank you very much, Ruben said. He gave him $5,000 and added, this is the initial payment. I'll complete it once I see what I want. After giving the money, Ruben went back home. He sat on his bed looking at the clock and waiting for the time. He was very anxious. A part of him was afraid. If it turned out that Alina was dead, he would have to go back to being heartbroken and try his best to move on. But if she was alive, it was a whole different story. How can that be possible, though? Her mum was there and her sister was there too. Why would they lie about that? Thinking it not add up. He kept looking at the time and waiting until it was a few minutes to 11. He got up, took a flashlight and left the house. But his father was in the living room at every point and saw him. Where are you going to? His father asked. Sorry, Dad, I forgot to tell you I was invited to an all-night party. You've been saying I should move on. I just want to party with my friends is all. Do you understand? His father said, normally I wouldn't agree to this, but as long as it helps you move on, you have my consent. Go have your party and come back first thing in the morning. Okay, I'll do just that, he replied. After speaking to his dad, he hurried out of the house and went to the cemetery. When he got, he saw the security men and the guy he had paid. They were all waiting for him. He stood by the grave and watched as the man began to dig. While the man kept digging, Ruben kept looking at the grave, and his mind went back to his final moment with Alina, that morning when he had woken up and realised that she was no longer breathing. As he recalled it, his eyes became misty and tears began to fall out of his eyes. He turned and all got to there to look, but the man kept digging till he finally shut up the coffin. I think we've gotten to the coffin now, he said. I'll be opening it, so get ready so you can see what you want to see. I need to close it afterwards. Ruben turned and said, hold on. Please let me collect my emotions. His heart was in pain, and beads of sweat formed on his forehead. After a while, he collected his emotions and said, fine, you can go ahead and open it. Something is strange, the man who tries to open the coffin said to him. What do you mean? Ruben asked. It's been more than a week, hasn't it? Yeah, more than 2 weeks, Ruben replied. It should be a weird smell, but none is coming from the grave, the man told him. Ruben thought about it for a moment and urged, okay, just go ahead and open it, let me see. The man opened the coffin, but almost immediately, Ruben turned off his flashlight. Why did you turn off the light? The man asked. I don't know. I'm really afraid of what I'm going to see, Ruben admitted. The man sighed. Please, we don't have enough time. We need to get this over with, okay? All right. Reuben turned on his flashlight but closed his eyes. The man took the flashlight from him, dropped the body in the coffin, and pulled out a chain from its neck. "Yeah, this is a very beautiful diamond," he said. When he heard the word diamond, Reuben's eyes opened, and he quickly took the necklace from the man. As he did it, tears fell from his eyes once again, and he held the necklace tightly. "I had given her this. This was a gift from me to her. Alina is really gone. I think you should see this." The man stepped him out with his grief. "See what?" Reuben turned his attention to the body, and his eyes widened in surprise. "This is a mannequin," the man said. "Whoever you are looking for isn't here. My guess is your girlfriend is alive, but someone wants you to believe that she's dead." Reuben could not believe his eyes. He moved closer and touched the mannequin. Yes, the hair looked exactly like Alina's, and he could see Alina's dress too. But it was a lifeless object. He held the toy and shook it. "What?" He recalled when his dad told him that Alina's coffin was opened, and he zoomed in, and Alina's mum had seen her body before it was lowered into the ground. Could his dad have lied to him? His father had confidently told him that he saw her face before she was buried. He went out of the grave and took incantations. He felt the rod around him spinning. He stared at the diamond necklace in his hand and asked, "Hi, Alina, where are you?"
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Like, share and comment below.